Good afternoon. This is our Thursday news edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Lindsay Roberts.
And I'm Joe Ruiz. Today we have stories on Kobe Bryant's lawsuit settlement and how a proposed tax increase on cigarettes will help increase funding for public schools. The San Marcos Police Department arrested 3 people on Monday after uncovering a plot to murder 2 witnesses to a 2004 home invasion. 20-year-old Manuel Cavillo Ramirez faces charges of criminal solicitation to commit capital murder, while 39-year-old Jerry Juarez and 18-year-old Julia Uresti are charged with conspiracy to commit capital murder. Juarez and Cavillo are both tied to the Mexican mafia.
The mission of the University Police Department at Texas State is to make sure that students, faculty, and staff of the university are safe while on campus. The department's records show that this global goal has been achieved quite successfully. The department's website reveals that in the past 5 years, there haven't been any reports of criminal homicide, residential robbery, residential aggravated assault, hate crime, or arson. There is crime, though. Motor vehicle theft, weapons law violations, and as well as forcible and non-forcible sex offenses have been investigated by campus police. The highest figures include motor vehicle burglary, liquor law violations, and drug law violations.
The University Police Department will stage a car crash in the Quad Monday morning. The crash is part of an event staged to raise awareness of the effects of drunken driving for students before spring break begins. Police, EMS, and the fire department will respond in real time to recreate the visual experience of a car wreck. The performance begins at 10:50 a.m.
The city of San Marcos hopes it has attracted a nationally renowned developer to help further economic development. Alex Ferris has this Bobcat update.
Supporting the construction of a hotel and convention center developed by national hotelier John Q. Hammonds. While a proposed $40 million Renaissance hotel will be solely financed by Hammonds, the city would agree to finance part of the convention center. The San Marcos Chamber of Commerce president Phil Neighbors says the city wants to support the project.
There would also be a public-private partnership to build a conference center adjoining it, probably a $15 million conference center, of which Mr. Hammonds would pick up 30% of the costs, and the community would guarantee the other 70% and pay for that out of occupancy taxes.
That percentage is expected to cost the city an estimated $15 million in occupancy taxes, but Mr. Neighbors seems pretty certain that the city will benefit.
The Chamber has had a meeting space task force for 5 years because there is no place where you can hold conferences and meetings with food service and lodging all in one place, and that's how you grow your visitor industry in the off-season.
There has been some concern that the project may cause some environmental problems because it will be built on the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. The aquifer is home to several species of federally protected wildlife. However, a study completed in December by an Austin environmental firm concluded there were no significant flaws in the plan that could prevent construction. The City Council and Chamber of Commerce are expecting a decision by Hammonds in the next 45 to 60 days to determine whether the project will move forward. For Bobcat Update, I'm Alex Ferris.
Texas State's Associated Student Government is talking about raising student fees to fund an expansion of the Student Recreation Center. If the proposed expansion is passed, it will extend the SRC's weight room and double the basketball and volleyball courts. Texas State students will be able to vote in a referendum that will be held on April 5th and 6th. The referendum would ask students to support a $47 increase in the campus recreation fee for a total of $94 a semester. The increase would not go into effect until fall 2008.
The San Marcos Fire Department is ready to protect residents from unforeseen emergencies. Michael Phillips has this Bobcat update.
In the last few weeks, San Marcos has had 2 train accidents. They were both an inconvenience, but nobody was hurt. Until this year, San Marcos hadn't had a train accident in 20 years, which has helped some residents feel safe.
Like I said earlier, it's not a big of a concern because it doesn't happen too often. It's only happened a couple of times over the past few years, so, I mean, other than that, it's not a big deal. I think we feel pretty safe around here.
Still, these accidents are cause for concern. One accident resulted in a hazardous material spill and the other happened just before rush hour traffic. However, officials say there is a protocol in place to keep residents safe in the event of a hazardous material spill. Officials also say all resources were used to protect residents after the derailment. Some residents say they are confident in the fire department.
But I think the city, at least the city of San Marcos, handled it really well as far as I know. No injuries, no deaths.
The city of San Marcos also has plans for an overpass over Wonder World Drive to avoid further accidents. And there are other plans for another overpass on Ocarina Springs Drive to avoid accidents there as well.
These two projects are set to finish by 2010. For Bobcat Update, I'm Michael Phillips.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about how a man flew around the world non-stop without refueling for the first time in history in just over 67 hours. Stay with us.
American adventurer Steve Fawcett has become the first person to fly solo, non-stop around the world without refueling. The 60-year-old adventurer circumnavigating the globe exactly 67 hours in 1 minute. The flight was in jeopardy as Fawcett's flight crew discovered mid-trip about a miscalculation in fuel, but later determined the fuel was sufficient to complete the trip.
A ruling is expected from the U.S. Supreme Court in June over an argument heard this week about the Ten Commandments. The Texas case centers on whether a donated monument should remain on the grounds of the Capitol in Austin. Those against the monument say it cuts across the separation of church and state, while those for the case say the commandments are the core of America's fundamental freedoms.
Federal agents have discovered a tunnel in California that they suspect is being used to smuggle drugs and possibly people out of Mexico. The tunnel was found near a border fence in Calexico, California, about 120 miles east of San Diego. The tunnel is nearly 20 feet underground and measures 3 feet in diameter. It's reinforced with both wood and plastic. Agents also found rubber tubing that may have been intended for ventilation. Authorities are trying to find the ends of the tunnel. Kobe Bryant and his accuser of sexual assault have reached a settlement in the 20-year-old woman's civil lawsuit against the NBA star. Terms of the settlement were not released. The civil suit sought unspecified damages for mental injuries, humiliation, and public scorn. The woman said she has suffered since her June 2003 encounter with Bryant at the Vail, Colorado area hotel where she worked.
Michael Jackson and members of his family arrived in court Thursday in Santa Maria, California. A photographer who videotaped Jackson's Neverland Ranch is scheduled to testify Wednesday. Jackson's former public relations specialist, Anne-Marie Kite, told the court that Jackson's team planned a smear campaign against his accuser's mother and held the family at his Neverland Ranch under duress.
Martha Stewart is expected to be out of federal prison this week in Alderson, West Virginia. The domestic diva has spent 5 months behind bars for lying about a stock sale. Although she discreetly entered prison in October, her exit will have a higher profile. CNN has learned that her company, Martha Stewart Living Media, has plans to provide a truck for the media to get a good shot for her.
With midterms approaching, students are noticing larger crowds on campus. Angela Hartman has this Bobcat update.
The midterm of the semester is next Monday, March 7th. Students are in a rush to learn as much as they can before next week in order to do well on their midterm exams. One program that has noticed an increase in students is the Student Learning Assistance Center. SLAC tutors students on various subjects. It has one-on-one tutor sessions and provides study guides for students. SLAC Lab Coordinator James Matthews is aware of the influx of students.
I would say we see an average of about 100 people per day anyway, but during these times it probably doubles to about 200 or so.
Tram wait times are much longer as well. Instead of waiting 5 to 10 minutes to catch the tram, students are noticing wait times which take twice as long. The computer labs around campus always have wait times, and during the midterm season they get even longer. Another facility students flock to around midterm time is the Writing Center, which is located in Flowers Hall. Writing Center Coordinator Laura Couris says the center is booked from now until spring break.
During midterm, every semester we see a huge influx of people coming in for appointments. They get booked up very quickly because people just get a little anxious or just want to do their best they can, since the midterm many times is a major part of the grade.
Couris strongly suggests that students interested in receiving assistance from the Writing Center schedule an appointment. For Bobcat Update, I'm Angela Hartman.
A proposed tax increase to finance public schools is before Texas legislature. Bobcats who smoke could be among those affected by Representative Jim Kiefer's bill to increase the price of cigarettes by $1 per pack in addition to the current tax rate of 41 cents. Opponents of the change say increasing the cost of cigarettes might result in fewer smokers, which would in turn generate fewer taxes. Advocates of the legislation believe that the increase would not only help fund public schools, but also increase the amount of people who quit smoking because of higher cost. The bill is part of a sin tax proposal, which would also tax items such as alcohol, junk food, and pornography. The bill is currently under review by the House Ways and Means Committee.
The Office of Student Financial Aid is designed to provide financial assistance and information to current and prospective students, parents, and the Texas State community. It offers 4 types of aid, including grants, loans, work-study awards, and scholarships. To receive aid, students have to fill out a FAFSA application. The data contained in this application helps the Financial Aid Office determine how much aid a student will be eligible for. Some awards are based on need, while others are based on academic achievement. The office offers a general scholarship application that gives students a chance to get up to 5 different scholarships at once. Hip Hop Congress is a new organization at Texas State whose aim is to achieve diversity through hip-hop. The group meets every Tuesday in the LBJ Student Center. Members are encouraged to participate in current event discussions and express themselves by sharing any kind of original art. Hip Hop Congress recruits members year-round and will have a freestyle battle this Saturday at Nephew's. For more information about the battle or the group, contact the Multicultural Student Affairs Office at the Student Center.
Following this break, all 3 Texas NBA teams were in action last night, and the Bobcats are nearing the end of the regular season. Stay tuned.
Manu Ginobili scored 17 and Tim Duncan recorded another double-double with a solid 13 points and 11 rebounds as the Spurs beat the Raptors 92-86. The NBA leading Spurs improved to 44-13 and 25-2 at the SBC Center, where they will take on Chicago's Baby Bulls in Ben Gordon tomorrow night at 7:30. Dallas Lincoln product Chris Bosh led the Raptors in scoring with 17.
John Lucas scored a season-high 27 points and number 8 Oklahoma State's closest win in Stillwater this season last night over Texas A&M 69-63. The Aggies are inching closer to their first NCAA tournament berth since 1987. Oklahoma State capped off the victory with 15 straight free throws down the stretch. Billy Gillespie's Aggies are now 7-8 in the Big 12 after winning 0 in the conference last year. The Cowboys extended their home winning streak to 29 with the win. Both men's and women's Bobcat basketball teams take the court tomorrow in their final regular season games. The UTSA Roadrunners will be in town for the annual I-35 rivalry. Tomorrow night is senior night, and both the men's and women's teams will be saying goodbye to 3 players. The women will be tipping off at 5:30 and the men get underway at 7:30.
58 years ago, he broke Major League Baseball's color barrier. As a Brooklyn Dodger, Jackie Robinson was honored with its highest civilian award, the Congressional Gold Medal. President Bush attended the ceremony held in the Capitol's Rotunda with Robinson's wife, Rachel. The Hall of Famer was named Rookie of the Year, an All-Star 6 times, and won the National League MVP in 1949. Some of the world's best surfers gathered today in Half Moon Bay, California to compete in the famed Maverick Surf Contest. The event is billed as the most dangerous surfing event in the world. This event boasts anywhere from 35 to 50-foot tall monstrous waves and only takes place on years the waves are big enough to compete. Surfers are competing for both fame and a piece of the $75,000 purse. Thanks for joining us for this Thursday edition of Bobcat Update. We'll be back next week with more local and international stories. For the rest of the crew, I'm Joe Ruiz.
And I'm Lindsay Roberts. Thanks for watching.